Gonna spray this out this morning. It doesn't really say much on the box, does it? There it is. Clethodim. What this chemical actually is, hadn't really heard of it until yesterday, but we use Select a lot, and Select, they give you the option of spraying at like 5 gallon or 10 gallon an acre. So usually we spray at 5 gallons, so we have an extra thing of Amigo around. Well, that adds up. We've got like freaking 20 of them, and we were saying like, oh, is there anything we can do? They're like, oh yeah, we've got this statue. It's the same thing, it just doesn't come with the Amigo. I'm like, perfect, we got lots of Amigo. So Mom was watering her garden. We took the autofill hose off. Luckily our black tank is full of water. I forgot to transfer it over to the other one this morning. My bad. We're off to a screaming start this morning. Fuel's on. I think that's choke. That's open. Move around here. Alright, so I'm out spraying this morning, just doing some spot spraying. A lot of the stuff we disked, especially down south it seems, in the canola. It must have just been a combination of the right temperature and the right conditions. Seems like a lot of the headland has wild oats or a lot of volunteer grass. So not necessarily grass, but wheat. And I'm noticing a lot of thistles, so we might end up coming back and we'll see what we have to do and what the timing works out to. Might have to spray some Pyralid down here, so to take care of the Canada thistle in the canola. It might. We'll wait and see, because it might end up just being able to spot spray it. It might be a whole field thing. I don't think it's a whole field thing. I think it's a headlands and that side kind of thing, but wait and see. Normally we would spray Liberty, and it kills pretty much everything except the canola. We are not ready to spray Liberty. The canola's just not big enough yet. So I'm kind of doing some spot spraying where the grassy stuff is really bad, so that we can get some control of, God, this is a really bad streak here. I might need more chemical. So that the canola can compete in those spots. If it gets overgrown, it'll be stunted if it even survives being covered up by the wild oats and volunteer wheat. So, you know, we're probably, I don't know, 10 days or so away from being close to being able to spray the wild oat stuff, or sorry, the Liberty. So I'm going out and I'm spot spraying this clethodim. There's Select, there's Statue, and Centurion. It's all the same thing, just slightly different on how you mix it in the tank. It kills grassy weeds. It's a group 1, and again, I'm not an agronomist, so you're not going to get perfect information out of me about this kind of stuff. And it's not like I'm ripping this off the top of my head. Clethodim is a group 1 herbicide, and this is from research I did a year ago, and then I refreshed it last night, kind of thing. There's a good sized rock. So it's a group 1 herbicide that it's called, there's a few different kinds, but its general term is it's an AC case inhibitor. I don't know what that means. You would think for a guy that did took organic chem 3 times in university, I would know what that is. I sure don't. Don't really care to learn it either. I might have to spray this whole field. Where are these big rocks coming from all the time, too? Oh, this is ugly. So what the AC case inhibitor does is it inhibits the plant's ability to produce lipids in the roots. Lipids are what allow the plant to produce like a porous membrane kind of thing, permeable membrane, not porous. So what it's actively doing is just blocking once it takes it in on the leaves, it goes and it stays in the roots, and it blocks the plant's ability to absorb nutrients from the soil. What that's going to do is it's going to starve the plant. It's still going to get energy from light, but it's not going to get the nutrients to do anything with it. So then it's going to get sick, and it's going to get stunted, and it's eventually going to die. And we need that to hold off long enough to give the canola a fighting chance to get to the point where it can cabbage out and block out the light. So once the canola's made its canopy, all the other weeds that are below the canopy can't get light and they die out. That's kind of how things work. Oh man, this is a bad spot for one of those. But I hope I don't need another tank. I'm not really following GPS here either. I'm kind of just going line of sight. I know the field pretty well, and I know spots that were bad last year for wild oats and spots that I disked. So those are kind of where I'm targeting. I'm not doing a broad application here. It would probably be easier, but then again, it's more money. Wow, that's bad thistle right there. Oh boy. Oh boy. That is a huge rock. I'm gonna have to dig that one out. You can see there's some wild oats in the middle there, but like I said, those aren't really thick enough to choke out the canola, and most of that will get knocked out with Liberty. What up here, whoa, you can see it's pretty green, and that's 95% wild oats and volunteer wheat. That's the stuff I worked with the disc, so it got warmer earlier, allowed things to sprout and pop through. So yeah, I sprayed that, and you know, you can kind of see here, there, everywhere. I've been going, I'm not even done this field yet, but this was actually unfarmed. This little low spot here for years, it was unfarmable. It was just so wet. So trying to reclaim that, I don't even know if it's going to grow much of a crop, but you got to try every chance you get to reclaim that land. Get the other side going. Oh, forgot to turn off the auto mode. All right. And the most important thing is shut off your sections. Otherwise, they make a hell of a mess. And I gotta get a better angle on this. So there's two gaps right here, and they're both exactly 100 feet, or I shouldn't say exactly, but just at 100 feet, which means the 3330 fit through it nicely if you got squared off perfectly. Why aren't you spraying? Oh, you are. It's hard to see. The 4440, I have to fold the boom tips in and spray at 90 feet, which also means I don't have auto boom. And I didn't get a good chance of picking stones out here. We had a bunch of stuff going on, so I got a lot of stone picking to do in the next couple of years. All right, so yesterday ended up being a bit of a run around. Nothing bad. So I ran out of statue. I was thinking I'd be able to do it all in one tank. Ran out, so I should say it. I ran out to my uncle's on a single tank, which is like 10 miles south, thinking that it'd be a single tank and I could do all the spots. No, it's probably a tank and a half, but in my cruising around, I kind of decided, hey, there's a lot of thistle out here. Canola's getting to be pretty pricey, like in a good way for us. maybe we got to look at investing a little more into spraying. So by the time we got things kind of organized and whatnot, and and this thing was out of def, and our little mini tote, or our tote, was out as well, so had to do some running around for that. Go in and talk with the agronomist, buy the chemical. We moved the water trailer down to my uncle's, and we had some slop in one of the bushings on one of the steer ears. We replaced that yesterday, hoping it'll help a little bit with the tracking. I think it will. It's not going to make it perfect by any stretch of the imagination until we can get that kit, the Raven kit. Probably tomorrow, because today's supposed to be in the 30s again. Tomorrow's not as bad. So tomorrow, I think I'm going to come out and spray Pyralid. That's a group 4. Essentially, group 4s, what they do is they disrupt the plant cell growth in whatever's forming new on the stems and the leaves. So it's on the top. It doesn't do anything to the roots in the ground, but it does. The chemical, from what I understand, gets taken to the roots and then redistributed around the plants in the new growth. That causes like tumors and malformations. It affects the way the protein is synthesized, the cell division. Like, it'll make irregular cell division in different ways. Maybe this side doesn't produce at all, and the other side gets overproduced, and it outgrows its. In places, it'll outgrow its veins, essentially, its ability to grow water, or to bring water to where it needs to. So if he's got like a big arm of a plant and you just got little capillaries there, you're going to starve that and die. So I forgot to fire up the field view here. Do that before I forget. So we're ending up having to do this in 3 different passes. Had I noticed the thistles were so bad before, we could have done it in 2, but I wouldn't have been able to spot spray either. So it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I'm essentially going to save half my money on the statue, because I'm only going to spray out 250 acres worth instead of 650. But it's a whole nother application, and the statue's not very expensive either, so it wouldn't hurt to spray it wall to wall. Because of the price of canola, we're going to spray this Pyralid wall to wall. I think it's called Advantage 360 or something like that is what I'm actually going to spray, but it's Pyralid. We've sprayed Pyralid before, and what was the other? Lawntrell. So I'm going to finish spraying this statue this morning. I'm going to tomorrow start with wall-to-wall on the Phylloxipur. Sorry, not Phylloxipur, Pyralid. Ideally, they are tank mixable. Clopyralid and Interliner Liberty. We're going to use Liberty. It's the same thing. The problem is that Liberty works too damn fast. On a hot day, like 25 and up, like, you'll spray Liberty and you'll spray out a tank, and by the time you're done that tank, if you're going back by what you first sprayed, you're gonna notice, some of the weeds are getting twisty or kind of limp, and it works fast. That doesn't help when you're spraying this Clopyralid that needs to get taken all the way down into the roots. So Liberty will kill essentially the top, and then not give that chemical a chance to translocate down into the roots to then be redistributed on the new growth. Like, this Clopyralid needs the plant to grow just a little bit to cause those tumors. It's not like a kill, it's more like a cancer. Doesn't hurt us. We're gonna spray this today, statue, spray, Lawntrell, Pyralid, whatever you want to call it, tomorrow. And then we'll wait about 8 or 10 days, depending on the weather, depending on the crop stage, and depending on the wheat as well. We're probably going to have to spray the wheat next week sometime too. So that's kind of where things are. Yeah, I'm going to finish spraying this off this morning, and I'll mix up a batch for tomorrow. Be ready to go tomorrow morning. 4 tanks done, and then probably move everything back up north to my dad's. With clipper lid, I can't have peas on here next year. Not a big deal. Not entirely. I would like to be able to grow peas here. So, but there's a lot of rock picking and dirt work that needs to be done in the meantime before we can get to that. It's not like, it's not rocky to the point where we couldn't grow peas if I really needed to. Now that, not now, but after tomorrow, once I spray that clipper lid, out of the question. It'll hurt it.